Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 9th, 2024 Planning Board meeting. Can you guys hear me out there? A little bit? It's kind of low. All right, I'll just remind everyone else on the board, too, to speak right into the microphones as close as you can, please, so that people online can hear and it gets on the recording. So thanks for that. Let's start the meeting with the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all. So a few announcements beyond what I just said. There are emergency exits in the room to your left and right. Restrooms are out the back and to the left through those doors. Please be sure to sign the attendance sheet if you haven't already for this meeting, no matter if you're a developer and presenting or just a member of the public. There are business cards on the back table next to the sign-in sheet with contact information for the planning department, should you need that. Also, the back table is a copy of resolutions that will be read tonight along with the agenda. So if there's not a copy and we choose to advance one, that we can make a copy available. Please turn off your cell phones or silence them during the meeting, and if you have any discussions that you'd like to have amongst yourselves, take them outside of the double doors and close the door behind you so that you don't interrupt anyone presenting to the board. So we have one set of meeting minutes for approval, the February 27th meeting minutes. Any comments for Lisa?
Nope.
Board?
Nope.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of those meeting minutes.
Move.
Ernie moves.
Second.
Al seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Lisa? Correspondence received. Marcia Senges regarding Bluestone Trail, formerly 7200 Rawson Road. We have that, Marcia, so we won't be acting on that application tonight in terms of public hearing, but we will certainly be addressing those questions in future meetings. So thank you for that. Boards, committee, Dave Condon's here. Looking very summery.
It's nice out today. Couple of interesting things. As you know, last night we closed the public hearing on the moratorium to solar. Some more people spoke last night. Most of them were repeat presenters, I should say, or speakers, but there were a few different ones. And Norbit publicly last night said that they're pulling the Bluemont Rise project up there. So that's not going to be coming before you. They haven't officially withdrawn yet, but publicly last night they stated that they were going to withdraw that. They listened to the concerns of the residents up there on the backside of Bluemont, and they decided, we're going to back off from that. So a committee's been formed. Councilman Guinan and Councilman Arroga is on that committee, and they're serving. Wes is serving on that for us. Obviously, when we're talking about the comp plan, pretty important to have Wes on there talking about overlay districts and stuff like that. And I think, the town board feels like, I think for the most part, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think right now that it's probably going to go to a positive vote on that moratorium, but I don't know for sure because I think some are still on the fence because we think that we have very good code, but the big question is where, right? And I think that's what needs to be addressed. So probably there'll be a pause, but I can't guarantee that at this point because we haven't voted on that. The other bit of information is we had a nice presentation from DeFelice group last night, and they're looking at a piece of property over off the Auburn Trail, which is light industrial. And they're looking for the town board to get into a PDD for 52-unit apartment complex, some underground parking and stuff. And I guess if I could compare it to anything, it is 4 stories. Then they had renderings from '96, because we'd asked them to show us some renderings of height requirements. They're 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. And I would say the board was mixed on their review of that, or, their comments last night were mixed. But I think that that's something that's still going to be going down the road. I think we gave them some instructions and some discussion points for further consideration. And it was kind of interesting. Dave Wright, and it's public, his comments were public, so I'll just repeat them. Dave Wright, who's on our parks, our trails, he says that he walks that Auburn Trail, hikes that Auburn Trail, walks the Lehigh Trail, and he said he'd rather see some nice looking apartments than look at another warehouse, as far as light industrial. I was kind of interested in that comment from him. So anyway, I think that's about it for now. And if, I know it's not in your wheelhouse, and you certainly have enough to look at, but if any of you want to look at the renderings, just for your own personal interest, let me know. I'll certainly get my copy to you guys so you can look at it if you're interested in it and see what they look like. I would compare them a little bit probably to the Locust Apartments up on Jefferson Road. Up there, that Locust sold off some of the golf course there for those apartments up there. They're probably similar in nature to like that a little bit, I think. So, other than that, yeah.
Where is that, Dave? You said on,
Yeah, it's behind.
I said Auburn, but it's a long trail.
Around the bend, it's a light industrial. It goes in off of Victor Heights Parkway. It goes in there, and it kind of backs up to the trail a little bit in there. And they're looking at that, and they're thinking, the workforce or whatever. But they're expressing a need. And my comments last night, and not that I'm against the project, but we've certainly have approved since 2016. We certainly have approved quite a few without seeing a shovel go in the ground, for some apartment buildings and projects. And we spent a lot of time on that. So I'd kind of like to see some of that going up. But, Keith said a couple have expired, or one had expired. But that's about it. So.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dave. Keith?
Keith Maynard, Project Manager for the Town of Victor. So your next planning board meeting, which is Tuesday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. First public hearing is the Stone Pavilion, which is residents at 378 Bridlewood Lane. Applicant is requesting approval to construct 16 by 16 attached A-frame pavilion. This property is located in the Limited Development District. Norbit Solar Farm Site 1, which was already here once. This is the one on Main Street Fishers. Applicant is requesting approval to install a 4.428 megawatt AC solar energy facility on 34.93 acre parcel consisting of forest and meadowland. As Councilman Condon said, the Norbit Solar Farm Site 2 is still on the agenda, but they said publicly at the town board meeting last night they're going to be pulling this. They just haven't confirmed that with us yet. And then the last thing is a minor subdivision called Howling Hills Minor Subdivision. This is 127 Blasey Road. Applicant is requesting approval to subdivide 57.614 acres into a 3-lot subdivision. Lot 1 will encompass the existing single-family house. Lot 2 will propose a new single-family house, and then Lot 3 will remain undeveloped. And that's it. So, any questions?
The Norbit Solar Farm 1, how is that affected by the moratorium discussions, if at all?
That could potentially be pulled from that agenda.
Okay,
Theoretically, the vote at the town board would be the night before,
all right,
so we'll keep you posted.
okay, thanks. We have 2 items on the agenda this evening. The first is Rivian Charging Station. The public hearing for that application is closed. That's at 200 High Point Drive. Applicants requesting approval to install 6 initial charging posts, 1 level 2 charge post, 6 future charge posts, and the associated utility equipment. So. You're welcome to step right up.
Hi again. Would you like me to go through just overall description?
Yeah, if you could describe the site plan, if there's been any revisions or additions.
Sure. I think if you cycle through 1 or 2 more pages, we can have a detailed plan that would help. There we go. Okay, thank you. So we'll start in the plan northeast here. Like it was mentioned, this is for public charging, so we have 6 total initial fast chargers and 1 level 2 charger, which I described last time was a little bit slower for overnight or like during the workday hours. But coming at the top here, we have a new transformer from National Grid, switchgear, 480-volt switchgear to supply 6 power cabinets. That's where the power comes in 480-volt AC and is distributed at 1,000-volt DC to our 6 initial and 6 future charging stalls. These are the fast chargers. These are typically 25, 35-minute or so charge time for users. And then our single level 2 charger up here. From the recommendation of the board last meeting, we did go ahead and add some landscaping where we're able to without cutting into NEC required clearances. We also did, we are showing a trailer stall still for our users. And we have updated to include the reinstallation of 3 new trees in this area. Previously, we had removing 2 of them and maintaining 1. We just went ahead and updated to installing 3 new ones overall. We have responded to all of the comments from the plan check reviewer previously and resubmitted those, I believe, about 2.5 weeks ago. And with that, I'll look for any questions or clarifications.
Yeah, if, Susie, you could go to the previous slide. I think it was the turning radius that we had requested. So if you could, yes, thank you. If you could describe the trailer and vehicle, it's a Rivian, but
Yeah.
the trailer itself, how long is it? What's the, why is that the most representative or the worst case, if you will?
Absolutely. So we do this is an auto turn analysis that's run by our engineering firm. We do them for most sites here, especially ones when it's requested. But that is, the vehicle itself is an 18-foot long vehicle. This is a 20-foot long trailer, which is a little bit more than what we typically see, but do want to represent kind of the worst case scenario. And as you can see, it's showing ingress and egress to the site using that trailer stall specifically, and displaying how the drive aisle width is suitable as is with our proposed striping, where we're not cutting into existing stalls where our users would be parked during a charging session. But that's basically the preferred route, with the charge port on the vehicle being in the driver's side front. This is naturally where they're going to go ahead and plug in and then leave the site.
Are there could you imagine another vehicle using that with a trailer? From
Yeah.
Not just a Rivian, but,
Yeah, the most likely other vehicle right now would be an F-150 Lightning, which the charge port is also on the driver's front. It is a little bit further back. It's behind the wheel instead of in front of the wheel. And so basically, what you'd experience there is the vehicle would just be parked maybe 2 feet or so further north. But the turn radius on the F-150 is actually nearly identical to our vehicle from the studies that we've done.
okay, so both the towing vehicle and the trailer, you feel you've chosen the worst case scenario of both
Correct.
in terms of turning radii?
Correct.
Okay. Board members, Joe?
So it's the towing vehicle that would need the charging station, not the trailer, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And they can't park the trailer and just use one of the other charging stations?
They could if they wanted to unhitch, but if they didn't unhitch, it'd be, they'd be sticking way out into the drive aisle.
The feedback, I think, from the last time from quite a few of us was we didn't like that idea of disrupting that island there. So I'm looking for something compelling for you that sort of
Sure.
obviates the need for it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's really strategic for us being right off of I-90. It's a cross-country route. We have a lot of folks that are towing RVs, towing campers, towing landscaping trailers, whatever it may be. And so all along the interstates, this is a fairly typical installation that we do, where we do have these trailer stalls, and it's something that most charging providers don't provide, whether it's location-based or other reasons. It is something that differentiates our network from the other ones on the market. But
Okay.
it's I mean, being off of I-90, you see it on all of our interstate routes. It's something that we get almost unanimous feedback from our users on as being a really big differentiator.
Thank you.
Al?
Yeah, just one question, because that looks like a fairly tight turning radius, and if it's a typical 20-foot trailer, I guess, does that create problems if it's somebody towing a camper that's 30 feet? I mean, do you now get jackknifed there in the middle of the area? I mean, how do you prevent anything too big to try to
Yeah,
navigate that?
That's a great question. We have to draw the line somewhere for the analysis. This is actually done with looking at what the site's able to accommodate. So, we can look at a larger one. I don't know what like the largest one would necessarily be. But like I said, I believe this was a 20-foot that was done in this study. We can provide more information on that if requested.
And I know you've kind of anchored in on this particular location, but it seems like there'd be better locations for a pull-through that would be much easier to navigate than to try to pivot tightly on an island to support that. And again, just echoes Joe's comment. I mean, we were pretty adamant that the island should remain intact, and so it's something we'll have to address, I guess.
Okay. Ernie? Questions, comments?
No, I go along with what everybody else has said.
How are you feeling about the island itself? Is that, you're agreeing with what Al and Joe both said? Is that what you're saying?
I think some signage of some kind might be appropriate.
Regarding limitations of vehicle size?
Right.
Okay. Is that something that,
As in like trailers over a certain distance, unhitch, for example, like if that is 20 feet and we find that 30 feet is too obtrusive, is that what you're suggesting? It's definitely, we can make a sign however we need to, so,
Pretty big trailers out there.
yeah.
I don't know, what's the capacity of a Rivian weight-wise to tow a trailer?
Ooh, you're testing me. I don't know off the top of my head, but we typically see large Airstreams is pretty common.
So 7,000 pounds,
I don't want to speak out of turn,
I
yeah.
don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm more of
but
I'm more of a charging person than a towing person
Yeah.
personally, but.
I just was wondering about the capacity of a Rivian. I mean,
What we do typically do is we do have a sign at every stall, and I believe you'll see that on the site elevations of the drawings. For the trailer ones, we always have a second sign below that says priority for trailers, so that people don't park in those stalls without towing a trailer or kind of use it last. And it's very doable for us to add a sign to stipulate, if you're above a certain length of trailer due to turn radius, we can ask you to park somewhere else. That's absolutely doable.
okay. Scott,
I just had a couple of questions. Can
can
this,
you pull your microphone closer
sure,
to you?
can this accommodate multiple vehicles that are pulling trailers, or does one have to park out on the street, so to speak, and wait for one to clear?
Yeah, so each of these charging posts has a single cable and a single adapter, if that's what you're asking. So basically one vehicle to one post.
Okay. And I guess my second question was regarding site lighting. Is the site lighting going to remain the same as it is right now?
There's one light that we're relocating, so the quantity will remain the same.
Okay.
We don't propose adding any additional right now.
Hours of illumination, the same?
For the lights, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to change the control on there.
Okay.
They are open 24 hours a day for charging, correct?
Correct.
So if somebody comes in at 3 in the morning with a trailer, they can stop
Correct.
or not. So, okay. Anything else, Scott?
No, I think that's it. I agree with the other comments that came forward.
Okay. Wes, anything you'd like to add? I know that you had some comments that were addressed, and
Yeah, the majority of Labella's comments in our letter that was, I think, dated early March 2024, generally have been addressed to our satisfaction. We did ask for the turning template that they provided. And as far as the landscape island goes, Labella will defer to the planning board on what you want to do there. We also asked for some additional detail on the charging posts themselves. And maybe if I could ask Susie to switch on my laptop. I just wanted to share a bit about the lighting that would be emitted from the charging post. It looks like what they've submitted, they've indicated here that the dispenser has a lighting feature that illuminates the outline of the dispenser. I'm not sure what RAN stands for. I guess Rivian Adventure Network dispenser guide. And it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like this outline here on the side is what, is my arrow showing up on the screen? Yeah. Is that the area that would be illuminated?
That's correct, and it
Okay.
goes across the top, and
Goes
you can
across
see
the
it, so
top
that's on
here,
both
yeah.
sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
The driver, the way these are positioned, will pull up and actually see the side. And that we call it a beacon light. It basically tells you whether or not it's open or
Okay,
not.
so when the driver pulls up, they'll see actually this face here.
Correct.
I see. All right. And then there was some additional lighting color here. Can you describe for us what these colors are about?
Absolutely, and I've got my cheat sheet here. But yeah, essentially a solid white light on that, again, we call it the beacon light, means that it's available, ready to charge. So when you pull up to the site, you see that light, it informs a user that it's ready to be plugged into. Solid green is the charging session is active, so once you plug in and you're dispensing energy to your vehicle, it'll be green. If it's red, it means that there's a fault or an error. And so it's entirely based on informing the user of the status without having to walk to the screen or look at the screen of their vehicle.
Okay. All right, so my understanding is that this lighting feature here that goes around the outside, that'll change color depending on the status of what's going on there.
Exactly right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so sitting there with no one at the site, it will be this kind of ambient white light. Plugged in will be green and faulted would be red.
Are there any other options for these particular charging features, or is this the only style that they make with this illumination?
That's the only one we manufacture.
Okay. All right.
I guess that begs the question, how bright are they? Is it sort of a subtle light, or are they out there, can they light up the?
Yeah, if you scroll down, we did provide lux and watt information on those lights. I think that was as a result of some of the questions that were asked in the planning review.
Okay. I wonder what the conversion is from lux to foot candles. Any idea?
I'm not positive.
I'll see if I can look it up.
Yeah.
Is there another location in our area where these are installed and could be viewed?
Well, the closest is Newburgh, New York right now. Trying to think. I've got hundreds and hundreds of photos. There's videos online. Of course, it's an LED, so in a video it looks funny. But there's a lot of information out there that I'm happy to share as far as photos.
I'd be interested in seeing what it looks like. Illuminated, that is.
Yeah.
You checking out your conversion there, Wes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be making sense to me, though. I'm just doing a quick luminous value by 10.
I'd be interested to see the comparison between that and the ones over by Victor Crossing.
Right. So I've got into here, I don't know if this is accurate. One lux equals 0.0929 foot candles. But then my calculation seems to come out to 255 foot candles, and that's not.
It's a little steep.
Yeah, that's not quite right.
It's very bright.
Yes. So, all right. Version 1.
Well, while Wes is crunching a couple of numbers here, do any of you feel that it would be okay to continue accepting the center charging station in lieu of not? We have a draft resolution that basically, is for accepting or denying the application as posed, and most of us have voiced, if not all, the opinion that the island, removing the island from that is a challenge. We're not expecting that's a visually good change to the site. So I don't know, Al.
Yeah, so Joe, certainly I'm not in favor of demising the island, but to me that's secondary too. I am, I guess, more concerned with the movement of trailers in and out of there, and I think Scott actually brought up a good point, right? If there just happens to be another 2 or 3 coming, wanting to utilize that location, like, where's the queuing for more than, one vehicle? Are they going to just park on the side of the road, or? So I just think there's a lot of
Hobby
challenges
Lobby.
with what we're solving for here.
Yeah, I'm thinking Hobby Lobby's the next queuing spot in that vacant lot over there.
Right, but it just seems like it's creating unnecessary conflict at that location.
I think they probably would think that's a good problem if there's too many queued up, but
If
Yeah,
it creates other congestion, right,
Yeah,
in the area.
sure.
That's
Yeah,
my bigger
understood.
concern.
Yeah, if I may, the navigation in our vehicles and in any vehicle that's using these chargers will tell you of the 6 stalls how many are occupied at any given time. So when you're driving down I-90 or wherever it may be, and you plug in your GPS and it directs you to charge here, we'll say 4 out of 6 available.
Right, but if
whatever-
I'm the
whatever
one
it may
that
be.
needs that island
Trailer
location,
island, is there a special flag for that particular one that says, here's a special island for you trailer guys? It's open now?
I don't believe that we have that at this moment. I know it's been talked about with our software team. I don't believe we actually currently indicate whether or not the trailer stall is open. I believe it's just falling into one of the 6.
Do every one of your Rivian charging locations have a trailer pull-through, or is this a new thing you're starting?
Probably about 3/4 of them.
Okay,
Yeah, not everyone requires it just because of the location. But again, being off I-90 was a strategy for us.
so if somebody's traveling from Boston to Chicago,
Okay.
and this is the only place Rivian has right now, or would be to stop, where else would they charge that have, if they have a trailer? What are they?
Yeah, Electrify America is a common spot. They don't have trailer stalls, so the feedback we get is
They have
unhitching.
to uncouple, charge, all
Yeah,
that?
yeah, or they block a couple spots. Overnight charging at hotels is pretty common as well. But then you're parking your trailer in the corner,
Yeah,
right?
and
And
charging at
there's
the
security
hotel.
concerns there, leaving your trailer overnight.
Uh-huh.
So that's the typical experience. And our strategy here is to electrify these corridors with trailer stalls so our users don't have to go through that.
Okay. Anyone else comment-wise? Joe? Got it?
I guess I have one other question. You mentioned that this is open for other electric vehicles too, right? That someone else could use this?
Yeah, at the time of opening, correct?
I guess in my mind, with the electric vehicles being as popular as they are, and with you being here tonight and just noticing the industry, I mean, is this adequately sized? Does this have the capacity to handle what is necessary for, say, the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever the projections are? What do the projections tell you? I guess I'm just wondering if this is the right size. Are we trying to fit 20 pounds in a 10-pound bag? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. We do a lot of data science and data analytics to tell us exactly the size of all of our sites. Not all of our sites are, we call this 6 + 6, right? 6 initial, 6 future. A lot of our sites might be 4 initial with no future. Based off of the next 4 years, we fully suspect that the 6 is going to be adequate. However, we've sized our switchgear and worked with National Grid here to make sure that the service is large enough so we can expand as usage increases. But again, it is important to remember that this is intended for road trips and not necessarily daily charging. And so there's a lot of seasonal data that goes into this. There's the registration data for EVs that's historical as well as projected. And additionally, now that it is open to non-Rivians, of course, that's a much larger user base than it would have been a year ago.
And if that were to happen, if you were to reach capacity, then I suppose you have to go hunting for another site. Is that right?
Exactly. We build another one in Syracuse or somewhere else on I-90 and fill in the dots.
I assume Rivians can charge at any other electric outlet?
Correct. Yeah, everywhere. Actually, just Tesla just opened up as well about 2.5 weeks ago for Rivians.
Okay.
Anywhere with CCS, that's the port that's on there right now.
Wes?
Well, I just noticed that for the lighting during the daytime, as it's described in the narrative format up above on these sheets that they indicated, it'll be much brighter, right? Because you need to be able to see the lights in the daytime versus at nighttime they do dim. The white light at nighttime seems to be a little bit brighter. Is that anything that you can dim?
They're LEDs, so I would like to assume.
Yeah.
I can find out.
It just looks like,
yeah.
for example, the white light is at 867 lux, and if the conversion is at all near accurate, it's like 80-foot candles. But then for the green, it's 7-foot candles, right? For the green light or the red light, it's 7 candles or even foot candles or even less for the red. So it's like,
So it's a lot softer for the colors than it is for the white,
right,
basically.
the white light seems to be very intense versus the colors for nighttime. And that's primarily what the town of Victor would be concerned about, is they do have a dark sky friendly lighting code, right? So a lot of the developments that go in Victor now are required to have full cutoff light fixtures, and they're very sensitive to nighttime light pollution. So that's why that's
Yeah.
why I focused in on this.
That's fair.
Okay. Seeing no other comments. What's the pleasure of the board regarding the island charging or not charging? Because if we would be voting, the resolution I have now is as proposed. So if there's a change that's needed, or if you would not accept it with the island, then I guess I need to know that. We can approve it with the exception of including the island, or we can ask the applicant.
I would be for approving it with the exception of the island.
Okay, Al,
I would agree.
how about you guys?
Yeah.
Ernie?
Yeah, I don't really see a big problem with the island, but go either way.
Yeah. So are you understanding that it looks like the board's favoring not approval unless it removes the island? I don't know if it's an option to look at that further down the road, or it sounds like you'd be having to live with the application without the island because of the site. It's just very tight radius.
Can I ask, is the main objection the modification to the island? Like, if we could find a different location for a trailer on site, would there be openness to that? Is that a fair question to ask?
I think
I would be open. Again, I just think it's a challenging solution the way you've designed it.
Agree.
I mean, it's not a well-used site for parking unless it gets very busy. And if there's a way to approach this perhaps with a pullover to one side that then you can loop around,
Right.
yes, it's like your snow, I saw a drawing on there showing where you'd put all the snow overflow, right? You know, snowplow, you'd basically be filling up that spot temporarily. You could allow parking there, but, you know, as soon as somebody comes in with a trailer,
Yeah.
they'd be blocking parking, so.
The advantage that this particular layout has is the alternate would be, you know, keep the island as is, locate the charger here, so now a trailer's parked
Yeah,
diagonally here, or, you know, around any three sides of this island. The challenge that creates is now we're reducing the drive aisle width around the site.
right, you're
So
not able
this
to,
is basically as out of the way as we could squeeze it. So just for what it's worth, wanted to put that out there.
well, okay. Go ahead, hang on. Oh, yeah, Wes is pointing out that just over the island,
I'll put that up
at
on
the
screen.
north side there, there's a whole bunch of parking spots just on the other side of the grass. It's a different owner. of
The
that
other
property.
parcel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Just recognizing that it's a different parcel, different landowner. But, you know, if we're looking for a solution here, right, so we've got, you know, very nearby where your transformer is going to be going, right? You've got some parking spaces up here. I'm not sure to what extent these are used today or utilized today. Maybe there's an opportunity to have a conversation with the adjoining property owner.
That's a good thought. Getting them turned around might be a challenge. I don't know.
That might be. to-
Almost create again, it's another property owner, but a pull-through. It says, right, you charge and then you can pull out that way.
Oh, so park right next to the transformers and pull through across the grass?
Yeah, although it wouldn't be grass. I mean, you'd have,
Right,
have to,
yeah, well, that's right.
Like have a cross-access
Yeah.
agreement with the neighboring property owner?
That would be an interesting
You could pull
thought.
multiple pull-throughs then.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Multiple pull-throughs for trailers.
Apologies, I'm just checking the survey. I know there's fire hydrant over there and
Oh,
other
yeah.
potential utilities and potential slope. I want to
Yeah,
take one quick look if we could.
Try to bring that up if I've got it here.
Yeah, not to turn this into a design review, but
well, we're trying to work with you to make sure that
Yeah.
you can get what you
Yeah.
need. We certainly don't object to a Rivian charging station in town. It's, this particular site it's got some landscaping and features that are tight for trailers, even though you've shown that it works for a layout which, you know, is probably as big as you might see for current vehicles. You just don't know in the future, and a pull-through might work out really well.
Yeah, I do like the idea. Just looking quickly at the survey, I do see specifically in the northeast corner, a pretty significant slope.
Instead of putting your level 2 charger there,
Right.
move it over a
Right.
slot, and then you have a one-way pull-through, or a two-way, honestly, but that might be hard. You know, come into this parking lot, pull past all the charging stations.
Right,
Park.
understood. And I think that would be the preferred, because we want to have the same entrance to the site for everyone,
Yeah.
not a different entrance, right? So
Right.
it would be in here and out there. I think the concern, just off the bat, is the slope here. And then also, obviously, we've got fire lines, telephone
Yeah, I
in
don't-
the storm, and I assume there's easements carried with that.
How's that look?
There's some diligence to be done, is all my point. Don't want to rule it out.
So,
Well, again, we could approve it minus the center charging station, and that could be solved for potentially separately.
yeah. Unless you want to, we can put a pause on acting on this if you want to come back to us with a, yes, I can do it, or no, I can't. With the pull-through, for instance, or another solution that you might offer.
I will just say at this point, without having engaged with that parcel owner, and seeing the amount of utilities there, including storm and gas, chances are we wouldn't look to do that. I
Okay.
agree, it is a creative idea, and I do like it, but I don't know how feasible it is.
Where did we end up on the lighting?
For the structures,
Yeah, for the
yeah.
units.
The
Well,
charging units.
I think he was going to maybe do some research to find
We
out
can
if the
change it.
white light
Okay.
at nighttime can be dimmed at all.
Well, it sounds like it can be dimmed because of day and night are two different lumens, right?
Yeah.
Can it be dimmed more than what you're already dimming it, is the question.
Yeah, we can find that out.
Yeah. Because you got overhead lights. I guess it's more of an advertisement lighting system.
It's a beacon, right? Yeah.
Right.
It's a signal, right?
Yeah.
That's the challenge with our code.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't think we have a problem with the beacon, it's
Yeah.
just how bright it is.
Yep, that's fair.
So if we were to do an approval, would we just put some sort of condition that addresses that then with the approval, or how?
Well, we can put a condition that the lights should be reduced in, you know, the nighttime lighting should be reduced in intensity. If it can't be, then we'd have to revisit it, but I don't know what else you do. Something for electrical engineers to look at. So there's that item, and then there's the island. And I don't see this passing with the island in, you know, taken up. We can approve it with, without the island and without, I'll call it without prejudice for a future alternative at this site.
Joe, it says that the lighting has two different modes,
Yeah.
day mode and night mode.
And Wes was saying that the night mode is dimmer, but it's still pretty intense.
For the white light specifically,
White
you're
light.
right, correct, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're charging, it turns green probably, or whatever, so, or red.
Hopefully not red.
Yeah. Well, it depends. If it's charging, if it's red, that means it's occupied and charging, and then when it turns green, if you're there, then it's charged up, so, I don't know. So I guess that's where I'm standing with this, that it, with opinions from the board regarding the island as the only issue, for us anyway. I'll advance it with that caveat that the island is not approved, but that we will consider other alternatives should you wish to progress them in a
But,
further application.
Joe, that would be a condition on this draft resolution, the condition to be addressed prior to the chairman's signature on the site plan, that the island remain as is.
Yes.
Okay.
If you chose, I can put you on the next meeting, just so you know. It would go another 2 weeks if you chose
Okay.
to come back, so you wouldn't,
In lieu of us voting on it tonight?
yeah, just, as a thought, if you wanted to reconnect. I do have space on the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
So, your choice. We can vote on it with that exclusion, or we can come back at the next meeting.
At this point, I can't offer any alternates, given the lack of coordination with the other landlord, the amount of utilities there, and just given that this is the design that we've put forth internally as well.
So, with our approval, without the island, you can go ahead and put all your infrastructure in, get the charging stations in without the island, and if there's something that comes up that you can work through on that site, either with the other owner across the island or a pull-through or whatever, then we'll certainly be glad to review that as well.
We will need to find a new location for that sixth charger that was located at the island. It'll likely have to go to another stall, potentially down here. I think this side of the property, just with the utilities we just saw, is not particularly constructible, and we don't want to squeeze one more in here. There's only enough space for the 11 here, so that one will probably have to land somewhere along this line.
So if a trailer came in and looped around the island and started heading back out, you'd park it where those 3 white cars are, I guess, somewhere in that area?
Yeah, well, in this case, the trailer is going to have to unhitch.
Yeah, okay.
There's no,
Got it.
unless we're taking out basically all of these to make 40 feet worth of
Yeah, that's
a
pretty
stall,
Good size.
which I don't think our landlord's going to be particularly enthused about. So.
Yep. Okay.
So it would basically look like, instead of 5 standard and 1 trailer plus 6 future standards, it would look like 6 initial standards, and that 6th standard we'll have to find a location for it.
Can it be just one more of the ones that are proposed for future, and then find another future one, say, next to your level 2?
Potentially, yeah,
Right.
definitely an option.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I guess with that, we'll approach the resolution from that perspective, and us has a condition number 7. And Sue can take control of the computer again. So, for the Rivian charging station, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, there are 11 of them, whereas the Town of Victor Planning Board reviewed the unlisted action April 9th, 2024, and identified no significant impacts. Now therefore be it resolved that the project Rivian charging stations will not have a significant impact on the environment, and that a negative declaration be prepared. Now therefore be it resolved that the application from Cameron Frew, Rivian, entitled Rivian Charging Stations, drawn by GPD Engineering and Architecture Professional Corporation, dated January 16th, 2024, received by the Planning Board February 6th, 2024, last revised March 29th, 2024. Planning Board application number 01SP 2024 be approved with the following conditions. Conditions to be addressed prior to the chairman's signature on the site plan. Number 1 is standard. Number 2, that comments in a letter dated March 8th, 2024 from LaBella Associates be addressed. Number 3, that the comments from a letter dated February 23rd from Zaretsky and Associates be addressed. Number 4, the comments in a letter dated March 12th from the Fishers Fire Department be addressed. Number 5, that comments from the Code Enforcement Officer dated February 26, 2024 be addressed. Number 6, that the comments from the Stormwater Manager dated February 13th, 2024 and March 1st, 2024 be addressed. And number 7, Wes, you want to read that?
Yep, I've got 2 conditions here for your consideration. Number 7, that the island remain as is. Number 8, that the applicant address illumination concerns associated with the white illumination intensity during the nighttime phases, to the satisfaction of the town engineer.
Okay, we can put both of those in, yeah. And then ongoing conditions that the site plan comply with the Town of Victor design and construction standards for land development, including section 4, and number 2, that a building permit be obtained prior to the start of construction, and be it further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. So with those 2 additions of conditions, do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Al moves,
Second.
Joe seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried 5-0. So with that modification.
Thank you.
So our next application for the evening is the last one, Bluestone Trail, formerly 7200 Rawson Road. Applicant is requesting acknowledgement of a complete application for a 59 for-sale townhome unit subdivision on 18.5 acres. Project consists of 2 private roads off the north side of Rawson Road. This is the first step of a major subdivision, and only acknowledgement of a completed application will be considered at this meeting. This is not a public hearing, as I may have stated at the beginning of this meeting. And I just wanted to have Wes bring up the flow chart just to show everyone where we were in this process, if that's.
Yeah, Susie.
Yes, I don't know, Sue, if you had that? Andy?
He's working on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw it flash by our screen. There it is. Now, if you can make that full screen or not, Susie. So from time to time, we like to make sure that we're clear as to where we are in a process, and whether or not we have public comment at a particular meeting depends on this process. As I said, it's not a public hearing today. There will be future public hearings. So I don't know, Wes, you want to?
Yep. Thanks, Joe. So this application is somewhat unique because it's part of a planned development district application, PDD rezoning project, where the town board established the PDD, I think it was in December of 2023. And that was step 1 of the PDD process. The town of Victor has a 2-step PDD process, and we are at the beginning stages of step 2, and this happens to be a subdivision application because the applicant is creating lots that will be for sale. So due to that, they have to go through the major subdivision review process, for which would be considered step 2 of the PDD rezoning. So as you can see up here, the Town of Victor subdivision review process, it looks like the sketch plan application is way over on the left, right? So the major subdivision process is a 3-step process. Sketch plan, they submitted a sketch and design that's conceptual in nature, and this is very similar and kind of repetitive to what the planning board reviewed when the initial PDD came in front of you. You had the opportunity as a board to look at a preliminary development plan where it's kind of a sketch phase of review, and the town board actually approved the preliminary development plan, which this subdivision plan will likely be very consistent with. So we're in the sketch plan phase. No formal action is taken, no approval is given by the planning board for sketch plan, right? And that's where we're at. Simply, the planning board acknowledges receipt of a completed sketch plan application, and provided they've met all of the submission requirements, and then they can move on to the preliminary subdivision review, which is in the orange here. And this is the substantive component of the review of the major subdivision, the preliminary. That's when we get into the environmental assessment form. It's where we get into seeker. That's where the planning board will look at the environmental impacts of this proposed project and determine through the seeker process whether or not there's going to be a significant adverse environmental impact as part of the project. So this is a really heavy lift, and that's going to be the next stage of review, and that's where the public hearing happens, where the public is offered the opportunity to comment on the application. And that will help inform the planning board as part of your deliberation and review and environmental review. And then at that point, if in fact that the preliminary subdivision does get approved, then the applicant goes to the final subdivision stage, crosses their Ts, dots their Is, addresses any conditions that might have been set out as part of the preliminary approval process, and then at the conclusion of the final subdivision application, that's when the applicant would submit their drawings for final signatures, right? So the planning board chair would then affix their signature on the final subdivision plan, which would then get filed with the county clerk's office. So we are right over here on the left side, and tonight in front of you, you've got the opportunity to acknowledge the receipt of a completed sketch plan.
Great, thank you, Wes. In this particular case, as Wes said, there's already a lot of work that has gone on between, not just with the applicant's team, but also by us in review and comment, and the town board with the rezoning. So that little box way on the left, in our case, in this case, is a lot already. So, good evening. Thanks
Good
for
evening.
indulging us a little on that.
And thank you for your breakdown, Wes. I'm Ryan Destro from BME Associates. Here with me tonight is Jim Barbado, Scott Morrell, and Bill Moreno from the applicant, Rawson Community LLC. We are here for Bluestone Trail, which was formerly known as 7200 Rawson Road. As mentioned, we are seeking acknowledgement of a complete application tonight for the sketch plan application. Just to recap, the subject property located at 7200 Rawson Road, as mentioned, was rezoned on December 18th, 2023 by the town board from Limited Industrial LI to Planned Development District, PDD. The town board, as part of the rezoning process, approved the development for 59 for-sale residential townhome lots on an 18.5 acre parcel. The sketch plan that has been submitted is consistent with the site layout shown on the concept plan approved by the town board as part of the PDD rezoning process. 13.6 acres, or roughly 74% of open space, is provided within the proposed HOA lands on the sketch plan, and they are located outside of the townhome lots. Access to the development will be via 2 private roads off the north side of Rawson Road. It includes an internal pedestrian concrete sidewalk network, which is proposed to serve the development, and also provide public access to the Auburn Trail to the north, as well as the existing Town of Victor sidewalk system located on the south side of Rawson Road. For public utilities consisting of sanitary sewer and water main will serve the proposed residential development. For sanitary sewer, an internal public gravity sanitary sewer system will convey the sanitary sewer flows to an on-site public sanitary pump station, and the pump station is proposed to be dedicated to the Town of Victor along with the associated force main. With regards to water, the project is proposed to be served by public water via 2 connections to the existing Monroe County Water Authority public water main system located along the south side of Rawson Road. For storm sewers, private storm sewer system has been designed to collect the runoff from the proposed development and convey it to an on-site stormwater management facility, which is located in the western portion of the property. It is designed to meet the New York State DEC Stormwater Management Design Manual guidelines for both water quality control and water quantity control. Some additional site amenities that we're proposing with this project include street trees, as well as lighting at the intersections and the proposed mailbox cluster locations that we're showing on the plans. This project also creates 1 new lot. This is to be dedicated to the Town of Victor, in which the proposed pump station will be located. Within this lot, the applicant, through coordination with the Town of Victor Parks and Recreation Department, has also allocated an area for a future town maintenance shed, which is to be designed and constructed by others. The intent of this maintenance shed will be to store equipment utilized by the Victor Hiking Trails Association for maintenance of the adjacent Auburn Trail, as well as the trail system within the Town of Victor as a whole. Federal and New York State DEC wetlands were delineated on site by BME Associates. On October 20th, 2023, the Army Corps of Engineers issued a preliminary jurisdictional determination letter approving the regulated wetlands as shown on the plans. Then on December 1st, 2023, the New York State DEC issued a wetland determination approving the regulated wetland limits that we're showing on the plans as well. The regulated wetland limits and the associated state wetland 100-foot adjacent buffer are shown on the enclosed sketch plans with this application. The proposed development has been designed to avoid disturbance to the regulated wetland areas and avoid the 100-foot adjacent area as well. A proposed conservation easement area is shown on the sketch plan. This is to further protect the wetland limits and also satisfy the New York State DEC water quality and runoff reduction requirements. And finally, on March 19th, 2024, the sketch plan was presented to the Conservation Board. They acknowledged the application as complete, and at that time, they had no concerns or comments. Subsequently, we've also received comments from town staff, and we will be addressing those comments on the preliminary plans accordingly. So with that being said, I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Great, thank you. I guess I'll open it up to the board. We've seen these plans a couple times, but not always in the latest configuration here, so starting at that end, I guess Ernie?
What is this spur road all about? It runs parallel to the west lot line.
Are you talking about the turnaround?
Yeah, no.
Is it the gravel
Oh,
access?
this is the pond access drive. That's a requirement from the New York State DEC to have access to the outlet structure of the stormwater management facility.
Okay. Have you given any consideration to how this is going to affect the people on the southern end of this, right next to the warehouse building? It looked like there's a lot of space there.
Yeah, this is the similar layout than what was shown on the concept plan submitted to the town board as part of the rezoning process. And as you can see on the cover sheet, we are providing a substantial landscape buffer beyond the rear of those units along the eastern edge of the development.
Well, that warehouse is pretty tall.
Mhm.
Will it cover it all?
It won't cover it all, but it will cover the main view from the residents from the rear of their structure.
That's it, Joe.
Okay, Scott?
I noticed in our packet, there's a letter from John Turner, Village of Victor, indicating that wastewater treatment is not going to be provided by them. Were you planning on using their facility, or is there another alternative that you're going with?
Yes, currently this project is located within the Village of Victor Sewage Treatment Plant District. It's been within the district for 20-plus years. The property owner has been paying into the district. It is our intent to pursue contributing to the village treatment plant. We are aware that the village treatment plant is under the process of doing some upgrades to their system that will allow for additional capacity. But subsequently, we are also pursuing other options should that not be a viable option in the end. They consist of tying into the Town of Victor sewage treatment plant that goes to Farmington.
Okay, so even though they say they cannot accept the sanitary sewer from the proposed Bluestone Trail project, you have other possibilities then?
We do have other possibilities to connect into the town system. But like I said, we will also coordinate with the village as well to pursue that option and to check in on the status of their upgrades.
Okay.
So on that note, you're talking about the new trunk line that runs along the Auburn Trail, tying into that
That's one option.
possibility?
Yep,
And that's the town's system that goes to town of Farmington?
correct.
And then the village, is that system on Rawson Road?
Yeah, there's a gravity sewer that's in front of the existing warehouse structure,
Oh, okay.
and that's where we're tying into.
But does it end there?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
all right. Thanks, Scott. Helpful. Al?
No questions at this time.
Joe?
Forgive me, I should know the difference, but could you explain the difference between a bioretention area and a stormwater management facility?
So the stormwater management facility in this case would be representative of a detention pond. And the detention pond is right here. And the bioretention area is just upstream. The bioretention area has soil media that filters it out. It also has perforated pipes in the bottom of it. So it's designed to take in water from the first flush rain event for a 1-inch rain event. And then once it filters out the stormwater runoff from the first flush rain event, then it conveys that water to the stormwater management facility for additional treatment, or the pond in that case.
And is there any outflow from the stormwater management into the wetlands? Or does it stay right in the pond?
No, the outlet structure is designed to convey the runoff from the structure to the wetland area, but at controlled rates. And then there also is an emergency overflow that would guide the water towards the wetlands in the event of the outlet structure being compromised.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Wes, anything you'd like to bring forward at this point?
I don't have any formal comments on the sketch plan. It was very, your submission was very substantive for what a sketch plan really entails, so there's a lot of information. We will have formal comments on the preliminary application, since that's where the bulk of the review is done. I guess I could ask Susie, maybe if you wouldn't mind switching me over one more time. I wanted to just get into the sanitary sewer map. I know, Scott, you had some questions on alternatives. And so, Labella, we are aware of the village's position, the village DPW letter, in terms of them feeling they don't have the capacity to accommodate the flows from this project parcel. So the project parcel on this map, here you see the village of Victor, is 7200 Rawson Road is this parcel right here. It's tan. There are a couple of manholes, existing manholes, out in front of the property here. And I think initially what the applicant wanted to do was to install a pump station on this parcel and convey the flows into this area right here, which then conveys sanitary sewer to the village's treatment plant, which is actually over here. We don't have the piping system for the village, but the village treatment plant is right over here. So I think as one of the alternatives, it sounds like the design engineer is considering whether or not they want to tie right into this pink force main just north of the trail. I don't know that that's the best design that's available. Maybe it is. I think that's something that we would be discussing at Labella at some point. Another alternative might be to have the pump station pump backwards towards pump station 30, which is here on New York State Route 251, and then have that then pumped this direction all the way to the wastewater treatment plant over here on McMahon Road. So this long force main here, all under pressure.
That's a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah.
So Wes, is this project competing with the senior citizen housing up the street for sewage capacity?
Well, my guess, my understanding and my guess would be that the village wastewater treatment plant has accommodated for that village project with the sanitary sewer. Being in the village, that is their ability to be able to tie into the village wastewater treatment plant, right? So,
Where do the drumlins tie into?
the drumlins tie into this gravity main right here. Let me see if I can.
Is that a
zoom in.
village or a town?
Oh, this is all conveyed to the village wastewater treatment plant.
All right.
Right. So I'll just back out of this a little bit too, because.
For proximity, too.
Okay.
Yep. So if you can see the difference in the shades of brown. Oh, I just messed that up. It's different when you have to use a mouse on the laptop versus a mouse on your desktop. It's just a little bit different.
Seriously,
Yeah, the shades of brown. So.
For the
every-
sanitary sewer, right?
Yep, for the sanitary sewer.
That's where Dave's
This darker brown is all conveyed to the town's wastewater treatment plant, which is over here on McMahon Road. And then this lighter brown, including Dorchester Park, this lighter brown, Silverton Glen, and what's this up here? Proximity.
Yeah.
That's conveyed to the village. The Drumlins is conveyed to the village. Some of the lots on Lane Road are conveyed to the village. Piper Meadows, yep. Is that map on here? Yeah, oh, this is an old map, so this is Piper Meadows, Yep, Quail Ridge,
Okay,
so there you have it. So some of the town is conveyed into the village wastewater treatment plant. A greater geographic area, as you can see, is conveyed to the wastewater treatment plant on McMahon Road, owned and operated by Farmington. All right, that's all I've got.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's, I think it's all the questions we have for now. There have been some questions received by the town for you, and if you haven't answered them by the time the next meeting rolls around, certainly the public may bring those questions forward again, but we'd like to see them addressed as well. So with that, we have a resolution that we can vote on regarding the completeness of the sketch plan. So I will read it. So for application O2SK 2024, whereas Planning Board made the following findings of fact, there are 8 of them. Now therefore be it resolved that regarding the sketch plan application, Rossin Community LLC, major subdivision entitled Bluestone Trail Subdivision, drawn by BME Associates, dated March 5th, 2024, received by the Planning Board March 5th, 2024. Planning Board application O2SK 2024. The Planning Board acknowledges receipt of a complete sketch plat application, and be it further resolved that the Planning Board Secretary forward a copy of this resolution to the applicant. On this resolution, do I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Scott moves.
Joe seconds.
Second.
Everyone seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. So,
Thank you for your time.
yep, you're welcome. Thank you. I believe that is the agenda for the evening. So I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move.
Ernie moves
Second.
and Joe seconds. Have a good evening, everyone.